Hey, what's up everybody, this is Mr.Cygnus, back again for yet another audio commentary for WCReplays.com. I know it's been a while, that's alright. Go ahead and pause the replay at the 15-second mark while I say a few things. Anyways, with all that said and done, let's go ahead and get this replay unpaused, because, yeah, I could probably ramble on for days. So, let me get back into the game. Pause at the 15-second mark, let's unpause in 3, 2, 1, off blast. Alright. As you can see, Cradle Robber spawned right next to me on Knollwood. I kind of like this map. Tell you the truth, I don't mind playing on small maps. I don't mind playing on big maps. I don't thumbs down a damn thing. I think when it comes down to it, when you're playing a big tournament or any of these other things, you know, you're not in charge of what maps the games are played on. So it's always a good idea to get a handle on everything. Some maps are kind of geared towards the benefit of certain races, so hell, why not? Just go ahead and play on it. I consider this game to be extremely balanced. A lot of people complain about imbalances. Well, you guys go ahead and complain all you want. This game is within 1% of balance, and that's pretty dang good if you ask me. Anyways, let me give you a little talk about the strategy you're going to be using today. This strategy is going to be involving an extremely quick tech to tier 3 with a Huntress build at the beginning. We're going to be going 1 AOW Huntress build, and we're going to be doing harassing. We're going to spend, actually, most of the time when I'm doing this strategy versus Undead, I spend just about 100% of the time harassing and like 0% creeping, unless the opportunity presents itself, which you'll probably see a little bit of it today. Another important note for this strategy, instead of stopping at 18 wisps to do a tech to tier 2, we're going to go ahead and build 20 foot of wisp right at the beginning of the game. So I'm going to build my AOW, continue building to 20 wisps. The reason I'm doing this is because at tier 2, I'm not going to be stopping to build. I'm going to go straight to tier 3, and by producing that extra food at the beginning of the game of wisp is going to allow you to tech faster, and that's extremely important when you're doing this strategy. You can't really wait at all. You need to get right on it. Can't really screw this up. But if you play it right at the beginning of the game, you will dominate at the end and in the middle of the game. So anyways, Demon Hunter's out. It's already harassing. I notice there's a sheep on the floor, so I kill it. I know. Please don't call the Humane Society on me. Anyways, yeah, it's a weak joke, but the reason why I kill that sheep is because in case he gets like a skeleton wand or something like that, so he doesn't kill it and raise it and do some quick creeping. It also gets it out of my way for some dang reason I'm running by. I don't get like trapped up and coiled or something like that. So anyways, he puts up the Nerubian Tower. That's cool, you know. Whenever I go in there, what you want to do is you want to force your opponent to build one. Most Ghost Undead players just build one to begin with. I threw a little bit of mana burn off on the Death Knight. You will see some ghouls running over there. This actually is kind of a smart move. When you see a single hero harassment, it's always a good idea to find out what the heck your opponent is doing. And an early game ghoul harassment can be really devastating if you don't really micro well, or you don't, yeah, whatever. You guys get the idea. Anyways, just gonna go ahead and take out this moon roll right here, so I'm gonna be forced to cancel it pretty soon. Right now, what I'm basically trying to do is I'm trying to coil the Death Knight. I'm trying to mana burn the Death Knight as much as possible to deny him any nuking abilities or any healing abilities at that. Death Knight with 0 mana at the beginning of the game is a real pain in the ass. So, basically, that's the goal here, is you want to mana burn the Death Knight as much as possible. The second thing you're going to be doing is pumping out at like about 4 or 5 Huntress to continue the harassment. You don't want to let your opponent leave the base, let alone leave your site, for about the beginning quarter of this game. Basically what I'm going to be doing is creeping out his fast creep areas to deny him experience, gain the experience to myself, and also keep an eye on him as well, because he's not going to be able to run out of his base without me seeing it, with 1 Huntress on the way and me creeping out. So right now I do notice he's behind me. I just grabbed the item. I'm going to mana burn the Death Knight once again and just do a little harassing on the ghouls. An extremely important note. Now, I hope you guys listened to my last audio, those who are listening today, and remembered a lot of micro tips. Right now, with only one hero and 2 hunters, that is not enough. That's not big enough army for you to engage ghouls head on like that. You need at least 3 or 4 huntress to be able to engage ghouls. And why I'm saying that is because if one of your huntress or even your hero gets surrounded, you need to have enough units to free the surrounded unit. So you don't lose like 195 gold or your hero or a TP at the beginning of the game. That would be really bad. And you also want to stay on your opponent as much as possible and deny him any creeping, because one of the biggest things that undead players like to use when they're doing a early tech to gargoyles or a Ghoul Garg harassment is they want to do either some fast game creeping or some fast game harassing. The opponent, Cradle Robber today, obviously is doing a fast game harass. Most of the time what you'll see is that stupid Death Knight always runs in your base and slashes and coils all your wisps. And that's why I like to use the Demon Hunter, because basically he sees the Demon Hunter and he goes, well, crap, looks like I'm not going to be doing any harassing today. And pretty much denies the early game harassment, which forces him to early game creep. And when you get about 4 or 5 huntress against about 8 or 10 ghouls, he's not going to want to do any kind of creeping right now. Anyways, if you will notice, I'm doing one of the tips I did talk about in my last audio. I'm doing a bit of a huntress block right now. So this actually was my first game I started putting to use these tips that I was talking about in my last audio commentary, which, needless to say, I was very proud of my micro this game. I mean, extremely proud of my micro. So, anyways, I know I wasn't able to kill a ghoul, but I was still able to deal some good damage to his ghouls, and that is, as far as I know, a good thing. So anyways, I'm running off to the Goblin Shop. I want to creep out the Goblin Shop. If you have noticed, back at my base, I've constructed about a couple Ancients of Wind that are up now. I've also started upgrading the reinforced hides and attack for the for my Hippogriff. Basically, the whole idea is I'm trying to get my Hippogriff as upgraded and produced as fast as possible, because I know there's going to be gargoyles coming at any moment. And if you're doing the strategy right, there should at least, if he does a straight gargoyle tech, he should have a couple gargoyles out before you even start constructing your 2 Hippogriff. And that's alright, because by the time they pop... Oh, if you do notice, I did surround that Death Knight as I was talking right there. I forgot to take a look back at that. Oh my god, you can micro now? LOL, GG. If you guys watched that little clip I added in with the audio commentary, I thought that was pretty funny. I was going up against some player who actually had beaten me a couple times before I even did my last audio commentary, and at the end of the game, I'll just leave it for a surprise for you guys to check out if you haven't seen it already. It was pretty damn funny. I was cracking up. I had shown that to a few people, and they were cracking up about that as well. So yeah, that was pretty funny stuff. You want to check that out. I also included something else that you guys are really going to bust your ass over. It's the funniest shit ever. I included a little bit of a Shoutcaster interview from a guy named Cecil Is My Hero. From a little bit back in the days. And if you guys check that out, you might recognize whose voice that is. And you guys can proceed in laughing your faces off and typing GG and PMing that guy and laughing at him. So that was pretty funny. Yeah, so you'll notice back at my base I've constructed a couple Chimera roosts. Reason being, we're going to be going Chippo. I'm going to tell you another thing about Hippogriff and about gargoyles. In case you guys did not know, I will explain it to you right now, and the reason why. In a one-on-one fight, Hippogriff own gargoyles. And you're probably saying to yourself, how the hell is that possible? In Hippogriff, obviously they have 2 armor, and they have less attack damage than gargoyles, which have, like, I believe 3 or 4 armor. Well, actually, let me check right now. Actually, maybe I won't check right now. Whatever. You guys can obviously see they have more attack damage and more armor. But you will notice, obviously, Hippogriff have more life. Now, in case you guys haven't actually played Diablo 2 before, you will remember, if you have, that life is more important than attack damage and armor. So basically, Hippogriff are better than Gargoyles for that very reason. Another thing, if you do upgrade your Hippogriff and your armor and your attack on Hippogriff, they're gonna own them even harder. So that's a good thing to know. Basically, another important note, you want to have as many Hippogriff as your opponent has Gargoyles, or you're pretty much going to get beat down. I mean, if you have one or two less, that's not going to be that big of a deal if it's like a 90 or 80 food army game going on. But if you do have a significantly less amount of Hippogriff, you're going to lose the game. I mean, you're going to lose the battle, then you're going to probably lose the game after that. So it's a good idea to keep pumping Hippogriff as much as possible. Right now I'm getting my Chimeras out, and you'll probably notice that I have one less Huntress because I lost it to a creep. That's not a big deal, because basically a little bit later, as soon as I get one or two Chimeras out, I'm going to be killing off my own Huntress. And you're probably saying to yourself, why the hell, Mr.Cygnus, are you going to be killing your own Huntress? And that's because Huntress are for noobs. Not just playing. Huntress are useless later in the game. They're going to be free experience points for your opponent, and they're going to be taking up a bunch of food that you could be using for more Hippogriff or more Chimeras later in the game. So basically what I'm going to do is going to creep with them as much as possible, use them as a front line instead of my Demon Hunter, and if they die, so what? If they don't, they don't. I'll just kill them later. So anyways, Hippogriff are at 2-1 upgrade. You will probably remember that earlier in the game, you saw those early game Hippogriff, Gargoyles that he lost trying to harass me. That put a big smile on my face. I mean, it was like an evil grin when I saw those Gargoyles there, and all of a sudden, hello, I got my Hippogriff. Good game, son of a bitch. No, I'm just playing. It was pretty cool, so I was happy nonetheless. Alright, so let's see what's going on right now. Let's see, my opponent right now is just doing a little bit of scouting. He's got a Dreadlord as a second hero. He's got Vampiric Aura. Most likely has Sleep, if I remember correctly, as a second skill. Oh, that reminds me, as a second hero. It's important for you guys to remember this. I didn't do it this game because on this map you can power level a Demon Hunter really fast to level 6. You really need a Panda Brewmaster. Oh, check out these harassment Gargs right now that are just getting chewed alive. Oh, that's great. Anyways, that was free experience for me. Bad news for my opponent. You really need a Panda Brewmaster with Breath of Fire and Drunken Haze, because when it comes to air-to-air combat, there's probably no better hero than the Panda Brewmaster. Drunken Haze is the primary skill, of course. I mean, like 80% chance to miss at level 3. I mean, just better type GG right there and leave, because that's pretty much good game. If one of your opponent, either you or your opponent, has a high-level Panda, or even a low-level at that, it's still a big help. And say you're trying this strategy on a non-tavern map, here's what I recommend as your second hero. I recommend a Keeper of the Grove with Thorns as your primary ability right there. And second would be Entangle. Just for some reason he decides to go to Fiends. Now the reason why I say Thorns is because Thorns pretty much cancels out Vampiric Aura. And let's say you have Thorns and your opponent does not have Vampiric Aura. Well, that's basically like you having upgraded Hippogriff and your opponent having no upgrades at all. You're basically going to chew right through your opponent's army. His melee Gargoyles are going to get just romped on by the Thorns Aura. So that's a good thing to keep in your mind. Plus, Keeper of the Grove is nice for that Entangle, Focus Fire with the Chimeras, you know, all that good crap, so just keep that in mind. You guys can try Naga Sea Witch if you want. I think she's pretty much overrated. She's good for, like, Fast Tech Night Elf versus Night Elf. Maybe she's good versus Orcs also for the Fork Lightning and all that good stuff, but I pretty much like Panda as a overall second hero. You might even be able to try, if you guys want, you can try Pitlord because he can't be coiled. You can use Howl of Terror and use Cleave, or Howl of Terror, Rain of Fire. Basically, Howl of Terror is pretty nice. It's like a anti-roar ability. Comes in pretty handy. You will notice right now I'm continuing to pump out chimeras. The reason why I'm going above 3 chimeras, I don't normally go above 3 chimeras when it comes to Hippogriff versus gargoyles, because you need as much food as possible for air-to-air combat. So 2 or 3 is good enough. You'll most likely see your opponent go 2 or 3 heroes. So basically, the reason I'm going above 3 chimeras is because I've seen the fact that he is going Crypt Fiends at this point. I don't recommend going Crypt Fiends. I recommend staying straight to gargoyles. But, you know, I'll talk a little bit more about that at the end of the game, about what you can do as an anti-strategy to this strategy or whatever. And yeah, I'll talk about the transitions that you can make as a Night Elf player with this strategy also. One thing I like about this strategy, it is very adaptable or adaptive, or however you want to say it. So you can do like basically anything. I do notice my opponent's behind me, so I'm just going to take a few extra hits down this gold mine. I don't know if he didn't have the upgrade ability, wouldn't have done much damage anyways, because I had my teleport scroll going off. But I do notice I was able to take out that expansion. I got my own expansion going up. So that's good stuff. Anyways, you will notice I'm pumping out archers. Might as well go over this right now. Archers and Hippogriff training. Basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to be mounting up my Hippogriff into Hippogriff riders and pumping out more chimeras. Hippogriff riders are great for soaking up some web ability. They're also great support to the chimeras. So it's good to make those into Hippogriff riders. They do pretty decent damage to fiends, even if they do have that normal armor or whatever. So those are pretty nice to have. So that's basically what I do when I notice my opponent's going fiends. It's pretty important to keep an eye on your opponent also, because you need to know if he's still massing up gargoyles, or if he's making a quick change to fiends. So if you screw that one up, you're going to be in for some rough times. So anyways, as another note, chimeras upgraded to the top own fiends so hard it makes me cry. It makes me weep for joy. So anyways, right now I'm just waiting for those last 2 chimeras to pop out. I'm going to go ahead and run to the shop, buy myself a scroll of protection and a scroll of healing, and I believe I buy myself a potion of invisibility. Or I think I do that later on in the game. I don't know. I like to use that stupid pot. It's never used at all, but I think it's really funny, especially if you're level 6 and all of a sudden, boom, a level 6 demon hunter pops up in your base out of nowhere and starts ripping your base apart, and your acolytes are crying as they're taking chaos orbs to the face. I think it's pretty funny. Then I'll laugh and TP out. So anyways, you will see Cradle Robber's army is getting pretty close. I'm going to take this break in the action and take a little Gatorade sip right now. No, I'm not sponsored by Gatorade, but if Gatorade wants to sponsor me, I'm all for it. Anyways, down goes the Lich, because I coiled the Lich and focus fired him as fast as possible. If you do that, it can be kind of a surprise to your opponent. He's gonna go, oh crap, he focused my Lich down first, even though I have enough coil to heal. And sometimes if you're smart about it, he's not gonna get a coil off in time. But I don't recommend doing that unless you're pretty sure at what you're doing. I would recommend focusing on the statues first and the Crypt Fiends second, and then focusing down on the Lich after you've mana burned the Dreadlord down. I mean the Death Knight down to 0. If you're using a Warden, which I recommend most people do use the Warden unless you know what you're doing. If you Shadow Strike Phantom Knife the Death Knight first and focus him down, that's also pretty nasty also. So anyways, I'm using the visibility pot just because I can right now, just to kind of show off a little bit. I know that's not too cool, but it was fun. Anyways, I'm focusing down on the Fiend. Actually, I'm focusing down on the Black Citadel. I'm doing this because he wants to lure me in the back of his base, and if I focus down on something important, it's going to lure him out of his base. It's going to lure him into the... lure him into the open. So right now, I was focusing down on his Lich again, but he saw I was going to do that again, so he heals the Lich. So now I'm going to focus down the statue, focus down some Fiends, focus down on some random stuff. Hippogriff are kind of just chilling and watching the game. Demon Hunter doing some pretty massive damage at this point. He's got like 10 armor, which is like insane. So that plus evasion is pretty nasty. When it comes to fiends, when you're going up against a Demon Hunter and they try and focus down your Demon Hunter, I just love that, man. It's like you can just laugh and smile. Because they're like, fiends are all focusing down, and like you see miss, 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 miss. Especially with the Panda Brewmaster as your second hero. That's really funny. Because like Demon Hunter, like level 6 or level 5 is like 20% chance to miss, and if your Panda Brewmaster has level 3 Drunken Haze, it's like 80% chance to miss on top of that. So like your Demon Hunter is like never gonna be hit. So it's really funny. But anyways, he was able to fight me off a little bit. It's better to be safe than sorry. Don't overstay your welcome at your opponent's base. If you find yourself not doing too well, just run out. You know, heal up a little bit. Obviously, I know I have the advantage because I should have probably re-scouted out his expansion, but you know, oh well. I didn't. But I should have. It's always important not to get overconfident and start attacking your opponent's main while he has an up-and-running expansion, and then all of a sudden he comes back and kicks your butt, and you get really pissed off and you start bad-mannering people. That's not too cool, so you guys might want to stay away from the bad manner. Yeah, Mr.Cygnus has been known to be a bad-mannered player when he gets pissed off. So, I'm trying to avoid doing that. I can't help it, man. Sometimes when I lose a game, I'm like, oh, you son of a bitch! Kiss my ass, you know? And then later on, like 2 weeks later, all these people are like, oh my god, Mr. Cygnus, you're so bad-mannered. And then you spend the time like, no, I'm not, man, stop. So anyways, you guys probably want to hold your temper when you're losing games. You might find that 10 minutes later, you're not going to really give a rat's ass, so I'm trying to think about that. Anyways, right now, I'm pretty much just finishing off my opponent. So I hope you guys like the strategy. I mean, this is like one of my favorite strategies when I notice my opponent's going a Ghoul Garg tech or whatever, because it pretty much just rips him up really hard. And if you practice it enough, there's pretty much nothing your opponent can do except maybe try and get a sneaky fast expansion up. But we'll go over that pretty much in a couple minutes. Just cleaning house right now. Alright, yeah. Come on, dude, don't run, man. Just leave the game, right? Pretty much just cleaning up here. Cradle Robber's a pretty good player, actually. I've played him a couple times, and he does some pretty interesting stuff. I think last time I played him, he went Fiends against me or something like that, and I tried to go like Mountain Giant Dryad, and it didn't look too pretty. So it was a good game. Yes, alright, so alright, yeah, you guys can look over the overview if you want. So I really appreciate the PMs you guys give me. I appreciate all the feedback, especially from that last audio. I was actually, someone pointed the fact out to me that it's about ready to break the 20,000 views mark, which, you know, was a really big milestone for me. And in breaking the 300 comments mark, like something like 330 comments or something like that in my last audio. I was like, wow, you know, I mean, I never ever thought that I'd ever break Downware's final audio commentary record, and because to me, Downware was, you know, a legend in the audio commentating world. I loved his humor. Both of us are some funny guys, I presume, but you know, his humor is a little different than mine, and I thought that was great. You know, if I can get a hold of that guy, I really got to do a dual audio with him. That would be pretty awesome. You know, I'm sure the two of us would chop it up pretty hardcore. I have a lot of dual audios to actually do, but my lazy ass never gets it set up. So anyways, I hope you guys enjoy the audio. Thanks again, guys. Appreciate the time. Alright, I think that's it. Alright, stay cool, everybody. Later.
Now up for the Shoutcast tournament candidate is Pibby. He is on Warcraft Replays forum as Cecil is my hero, and he's also known as STF Freak. So welcome. I don't know, I'll call you Pibby for this interview. Welcome, and introduce yourself to us.
Alright, my name is David Turley. You can call me David if you care. It's whatever. I play Lordaeron with the account name Pibby. I live in California. I'm 16, and I'm really nervous right now. I guess that's all. Yeah.
Alright, cool. No need to be nervous. We're just chatting here. So why do you want to be a shoutcaster for Warcraft Replays?
Alright, well, I had applied for the audio commentary position, and I guess that's still running or something. And I noticed that one of the, I guess you could say, benefits was being a shoutcaster, and I realized that was something that would be really fun, really exciting, and really cool to do. And so I applied for this in case, I guess, audio commentating didn't work or something like that. And it seemed really cool because of what all the shoutcasters would do is they'd be up on the server and just 50s or hundreds of people would just whisper to them or listen to them, and you were up for that time, and it was kind of a really cool feeling that I'd like to try out at least. I mean, at least just doing the test shoutcast with you, and it's just something that sounds really fun, and I want to try it.
That's awesome. I'll go ahead and give the next question to Kid Artica. She will ask you something.
Yeah, sure. Okay, my question is that if you were to become a shoutcaster for WarcraftReplays.com, how much do you think that you will be able to cast, say, on a weekly basis?
Well, I'm able to play probably 4 or 5 hours a day, and I mean, if the shoutcast is empty, I'd love to be on it because it's something that's fun. It's at least as fun as playing, and if the cast was available, probably at least an hour a day, or on like the weekends, I'd do like a 5-hour sprint or something like that. But I could definitely give a lot of time, if not per day, at least per week, to shoutcasting. So at least 4 hours per week, guaranteed.
All right, Pippi, do me a favor. You might want to push your mic away a little bit. You're coming a little too close, so there's a lot of crackling and puffing. So you might want to back the mic away just a little bit.
Okay, how's this?
It sounds wonderful.
Better.
Okay.
Okay, so now the next question will be from Lido.
Falls in the forest.
Give him a second.
1 second.
Sure.
When a treant falls in the forest, does it make a sound?
Yes.
What is that sound?
The actual treant from Warcraft 3 sound is weird, like, decaying, air-washing sound.
Make that sound.
It's gonna be great.
Yay, a unit death sound.
No, it's not blowing. It's not like making a blowing sound. It's making a creaking sound.
Well, I can't exactly make a creaking sound with human vocal cords. If I had a piece of wood, I could like bend it or something. But I don't know exactly how to make a decaying tree with my voice. Sorry.
So disappointing.
I'm sorry, please forgive me.
I'll think about it.
Okay, Lido, do you have another question for Pibby?
Got milk?
Yes.
Alright, that's all.
Alright, great. So next up is Volander. He has some questions for you.
First you can, sit back, relax and breathe a bit. It sounds like you're about to faint on us. Second, do you plan on doing high level games or are you doing shoutcasts for everyone? What I'm getting at is that there's only 12 observer spots, so if you just reserve your games for high-level people, then most of our members won't be able to check them out.
Well, seeing as I don't know anyone who's really skilled, pretty much every slot will be to regular people. I'll try not to give preference to the players' friends, but obviously, you know, they're playing it, so I have to give them some leeway. But I'm not going to invite, like, everyone I know into it. I'll just say, you know, if you're there, great, join, but it's just, I'm not going to whisper anyone no.
Alright, so you will give most people a chance to watch at least one game per session?
Yeah, I'll try to keep track. I'll probably keep a notepad handy, and of everyone who joins, I'll write their name down, and then kick them out if there's other people left to join the next game.
Thank you.
Okay, I have another question. What kind of music do you like, and what kind of music will you be playing when you're on the Shoutcast?
I listen to mostly rock music, Linkin Park, Megadeth, just a bunch of, you know, cool stuff like that. You know, there's guitars and vocals and stuff that sometimes you can't understand. I don't listen to country or anything like that, but I mean, just general music that you'd find. I don't know. I can't really describe it very well, but that kind of genre.
Awesome. My next question would be, how would you handle people who are bad-mannered to you? Sometimes when you're on Shoutcast, you'll get whispers from people who are just trying to get a rise out of you. They might cuss at you or say mean things to you, and while you're on the Shoutcast, how would you handle something like that?
If it really just pisses me off, I'll just press ignore the space in the name, and if I can't write out the name very well, then I'll just do my best to ignore it, but I generally won't start yelling at the person because that's pretty dumb.
Okay, great. Anyone else has questions for Pibby?
Last dimensions question. Are you hot?
Oh yeah, I touch myself every day.
You do what?
Say no more.
I touch myself every day just because I'm so hot.
Alright. So where would you rate yourself on a scale from 1 to 10?
17. No, 7.
You're so hot that you touch yourself every day and you're only a 7?
I have low standards, I'm sorry.
Alright, just send a picture to Dimension and I guess everything will be alright.
Alright, sounds good.
Oh, I will ask another question. It's also another Dimension question. Since he can't join us, he's probably sleeping. But,
He's drunk. He's drunk. He's drunk.
Okay, or that.
British.
He's sleeping, but he was drunk.
So his question, another question of his would be, how or what do you feel about gay people? Do you have a problem with people who are gay? Because if there was someone that you had to work with and you were on staff and they were gay, how would you treat them? Or would you get along with all of us because we're all so gay?
Dimension's coming out of the closet, isn't he? No, I really don't care. Being gay is fine. I mean, I'm not going to be weirded out if, you know, I'm working alongside someone who's gay. I mean, whatever. I don't care, because working on the internet, generally it's not someone who's very nearby, so it's not like anything's going to happen, and I don't care. It's fine.
Great. All right, that's all the questions I have. Anyone else?
You should see the skeletons in my closet.
That's great, Little. I love your unit sounds.
Pibby, what is your favorite hero or unit?
Jane is hot. Let's see. Not the Beastmaster. I'd say the Panda.
Okay, so can you tell me, what does the panda sound like when he dies? That's great. Thank you, Pibby.